How to draw a sandwich. Welcome to Rain Francis Art for Kids. Today I'm going to show you how to draw this cute little sandwich with coloring pencils, step by step. This is an easy drawing lesson for kids, beginners, and kids of all ages. Hi everyone, welcome to Rain Francis Art for Kids. My name is Rain. In this series, Alphabet Soup, we choose a letter from the alphabet and we draw food that starts with that letter. So let's draw. This is what you'll need for today's drawing. You'll need a piece of paper. I have my dollar store drawing pad here. It's 11 by 8.5 inches. You'll need a pencil, an eraser, and I have an old paintbrush that I've never used for painting that I use to brush off my page. For color today, we're using coloring pencils. So I've got a golden color. I've got a yellow color, yellow-orange, I'd say. That's going to be for the cheese, so you could use regular orange if you want. For the tomatoes, we've got red. For the lettuce, we've got green. And for the crust of the bread, we've got brown. I also have a black fine liner for outlining, and if I can find it, there it is, my black Sharpie. Okay, so why don't we clear off our page and we can begin drawing our sandwich. There we go. Now this is alphabet soup, so we are going to write out the word sandwich. So let's draw capital S, a small s, and let's write the word sandwich. So capital S, A, N, D, W, I, C, and H. Sandwich. All right, let's draw our sandwich. Now, what I'm going to do is draw with pencil, and I'm going to outline with my black marker, the fine tip marker, and then erase my pencil marks. I just wanted to let you know. So the first thing I'm going to do is draw the top part of the bread. So let's draw a little curvy top, and then the piece of the bread like this. Okay? Now let's do that again. Let's go on the inside. We're going to follow that line and make a thin little crust of bread here along the whole thing. There we go. Now let's draw some eyes first, just so we don't color those in. We're going to draw big oval eyes, and we can draw the pupils of the eyes here. And I'm going to draw the sandwich's mouth because his tongue is going to come out because he's so delicious. Okay? So now what I want to do, I'm going to draw a few pieces of cheese. Now those are going to be triangles like this. 1, 2 pieces of cheese, just like that. And we're going to draw some tomatoes. So I've got a little round here, that's going to be a tomato. And a little round piece here, that's going to be a tomato. And then all around that, we're going to draw little curly areas. That's going to be lettuce. This is a really big sandwich we're making here with all the works. There we go. Now what we can do is we can draw, I may be erasing, but watch what I'm going to do, because I want to draw the bottom piece of the sandwich. So I'm going to kind of make a round thing here. You see what I'm doing? I'm kind of making the bottom piece of bread there. Okay? And what we can do is the same thing. draw the little crust. Now this might get a little complicated when we're coloring things in, but I'm going to be there for you, so don't worry. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is take my black fine tip marker and I'm going to outline everything. And then what I'm going to do is erase my pencil marks. Now I'm not too worried about following my pencil lines because I am going to be erasing them. But if you're not going to erase yours, try to take your time and follow your pencil lines. All right. I'm going to make this eye a little bigger. All right. Now let me outline everything here. And I'll do the crust. It looks a little confusing, but watch what I'm doing and follow along with what I'm doing, and you won't get confused as to what needs to be what color, okay? I'll do the lettuce here. That little tomato piece. Another little tomato here. And all of that lettuce. There we go. Now what I think I'm going to do is on these two tomatoes, I'm going to draw the skins of the tomato. Oh, I just hit my camera. So sorry about that. Let me fix that. There we go. So I'm going to outline the skins of the tomatoes. Talk about complicated, eh? I'm making it very complicated. Okay. And maybe I'll put a few little seeds in the tomatoes. There we go. I promise I won't add anything more at this point. Just detail at the end. So now I'm going to erase all my pencil marks. Now make sure your marker is dry before you start erasing so you don't smudge everything. And use a light touch when you're erasing, okay? Just in case your marker is still a little wet. We don't want to smudge everything. You can always go over it a second time with the eraser. Okay, let me get rid of those eraser marks. Now I'm going to go over it a little bit more just to get rid of all of my pencil marks. There we go. Now I can start adding color. Now, just so you don't get confused, I'll start with the cheese. So I've got that yellowy orange kind of color here, and I'm going to color in these two triangles. That's the cheese. Those are the cheese slices in the sandwich. So let's start with that. And if you're using coloring pencils, don't forget to turn your pencil once in a while so you don't wear it all down on one side. And you don't have to press down hard to get the color you want because we're going to color it in a second time. That's called adding a second layer of color. Okay? We use layers to get the color we want. So now I'm going to add a second layer here. I'm going to color it in a second time, and I am not pressing down hard at all, my friends. And I'm turning my pencil once in a while. Oh, that cheese looks good. You see the difference between one layer and two? Two layers makes it look much more vibrant. And that's why we add layers. That's why we don't press down hard. Because we don't want to tire out our hands, we don't want to rip our paper, and we don't want to break our pencils. All right, so the cheese is done. Next up, we'll do the lettuce. So I've got the green, and it's all these squigglies. All the squigglies, okay? And once we have those done, it'll be easier for us to see where we're going to color in the bread. And we'll do the tomatoes next too. I'm going to start with one layer, but I just want to color in the lettuce so you can really see where it is. Remember, that's the rind of the tomato in there, so that's going to be red. Not the rind, the skin. Here too, that's the tomato skin, so we don't want to color that in green. Unless you have a green tomato in your sandwich. I always make fried green tomatoes in the fall. They're so good. And there's a movie and a book called Fried Green Tomatoes, and it's one of my favorite movies. I love it. Okay, you see where the lettuce is? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to color it in a second time, which means adding a second layer of color. Okay, you see the difference? One layer, two. I like to show you the difference so that you know why we add layers, to make the colors pop. I'm going to want to eat a sandwich after this drawing, that's for sure. There we go, we're getting all that lettuce colored in. That's the most complicated part, is the lettuce, I think. There, it's looking good so far. Why don't we take our red color and just color in the tomato. The whole thing, even those little pits or seeds. Now don't forget to turn your pencil once in a while. I'm going to add a second layer of red to the tomatoes. My red is more of a pinky red, it looks like. Tomatoes come in all sorts of red colors, don't they? Some of them look more pink. Some of them look really dark red. I've even seen, I think, purple tomatoes. All right. I've got all my dogs in here with me, but they're all sleeping. I'm waiting for a package to be delivered, so if they hear something at the door, they're all going to start barking. I'm just letting you know. It might get loud. Okay. So now we can start coloring the bread. Why don't we take our brown color and do the crust? We'll start with the back of the bread, and we'll color in that crust. Let's finish the back of the bread first, and then we'll do the front. So I'm going to add a second layer to that crust in the back. And I'm turning my pencil. go. Now before I start this, I'm going to just take my golden color and color in the rest of the white areas. That's the inside of the bread. And I'm going to be careful not to get anything into the lettuce or the cheese or the tomato. See, when you do it a little bit at a time, it's not as confusing. If I started with the bread, it may have been a little confusing to figure out where the colors were supposed to go, so it was good that we started coloring in with the cheese. So here's my... Oh, you see what happened? The tip of my pencil broke. I may have been pressing down too hard. So I'm putting in the second layer right now. I'm coloring it in a second time. It's looking good so far. So why don't we take our brown and do the crust here. What kind of sandwiches do you like? What's your favorite? I used to love peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Not jam, jelly. It was grape jelly, I remember that. Oh, it was so good. I can't eat peanut butter anymore, though. My tummy doesn't like it anymore. But I think my favorite sandwich is this one. I call it a CLT. C for cheddar cheese, L for lettuce, T for tomato. Now let's add a second layer of brown to this crust. I used to make BLTs, which is bacon, lettuce, tomato. But I don't really eat too much meat anymore. Again, as I get older, my stomach is less tolerant. So I can't eat bacon anymore, which is awful because it's so good. But instead of bacon, I add cheese, so it's not a BLT, it's a CLT. With some mayo. Yummy, yummy, yummy. All right, I'm going to finish this second layer here on the crust. Turning my pencil. There. Now I'm going to take my red color because his tongue is sticking out, and I think his tongue should be red. So why don't we just color that in red? And I'll add a second layer right away. It's kind of pink, actually. My red is a pinky. Oh, one of my dogs is awake. And he's scratching. Benny, lay down, Benny. He's a puppy, so every time he goes to lie down, he scratches the area first. It's really cute. All right, so I'm taking that golden color and I'm going to color in the bread here, but I don't want to get any into the eyes, okay? So let's turn our pencil once in a while. And we're definitely going to add at least one more layer here. And I'm going to be careful not to get any brown into the tongue either. Turning my pencil. All right, that's our first layer. Now let's do our second layer. I think my bread is toasted. That's why it's got that sort of golden dark color there. I toasted this sandwich. Oh, of course, another great sandwich is a grilled cheese sandwich, right? Yum, yum, yum. I also like chicken salad. I used to really like salmon salad, too. A little salmon mixed with mayo and some relish. It was really good. I've got to make more sandwiches. And just toast with butter and a little strawberry jam. I love that too. That's really, really good too. It's not really a sandwich. It's good. All right, I think I'm going to do a third layer because I want it to be just a little darker. I remember in high school, once in a while I would get a hot lunch at the cafeteria. I usually brought my lunches to school, but whenever they had spaghetti, it was always really, really, really good. So me and my friends used to always save our money for spaghetti day. And we'd get pieces of bread, slices of bread, and put the spaghetti inside the bread and make spaghetti sandwiches. That's what we used to do. I don't think I could eat a spaghetti sandwich now. My stomach would be like, what are you doing, Rain? That's too much food. But when I was a kid, oh boy, I could eat a lot. Spaghetti sandwiches. Okay, well, a third layer definitely looks good. So now I'm going to take my black Sharpie and just fill in those pupils. There we go. Now we can add the little final bits of detail. And really, all we're going to do is add some eyebrows. Mr. Sandwich is ready to eat. Now sign your work, my friends. I want you to be very, very proud of the beautiful work of art that you just created. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and we'll see you next time on Alphabet Soup. Thanks for watching. Bye.